Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Guanqin GQ16192. Today is Veterans Day, so happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. And if you're not from the USA, today is also Armistice Day. So I imagine if your country was involved in World War I, that you probably celebrate this day in your country. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Actinite 339, and Grogu's are my current 8439. Grogu said Mando had the armor make a new dark saber and had her place it inside a stone. And he told Bo-Katan that if she can draw the saber from the stone, she'll be the new queen of Mandalore. I asked him if Bo-Katan was able to draw the saber. He said he thinks so. She asked him for a number 2 pencil. Okay, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this box. This is a pretty nice box. I like it. And then we have the unsigned warranty card. And look at that, GQ. It makes it look like it's Gentleman's Quarterly, but no, it's not. It's Guanqin. And here is the watch. It's your basic sub homage, and it's a nice looking one. I really like it. This is the second Guanqin on my channel. One of my viewers pointed out that I was pronouncing it wrong originally because I was saying Guanqin. I am notoriously bad at pronouncing words I've never heard before, so I have no problem with viewers correcting me. I used to pronounce it Tom Bombadil before I heard Christopher Lee say Tom Bombadil. The last Guanqin was a nice watch for the money, so I have no problem pulling the trigger on this one. This is your basic Submariner homage. It is nice enough to be solid steel, sapphire crystal, and an NH35 automatic movement. You don't get all the bells and whistles though. Only 100 meters of water resistance, bad lume, no on-the-fly adjustment, and a seriously misaligned bezel. But this didn't cost a lot of money and seems to be well worth the $50 I paid for it. They only had a black and a Hulk. I chose the black just because I've reviewed a lot of the Hulk subs, so I figured I better give black another shot. The watch is 41 millimeters at the bezel, but the bezel does overhang the case a bit. It's 47.7 millimeters lug to lug with protruding end links. It's 12.5 millimeters thick if you don't count the Cyclops, which isn't bad for a sub homage. Has a 20 millimeter lug width and weighs 146 grams on the supplied bracelet with 2 links removed. The bezel is an 80 click unidirectional. Yes, you heard that right, 80 click. I've never seen an 80 click before, and I'm sure one of my viewers might argue with me that I'm mistaken, but I am not. I counted it several times. And it's a nice ceramic bezel. I like the insert, but look at that though. It's seriously misaligned. I mean, not even close. And yeah, it's to the left there, but if I don't go all the way to the left, it's going to be misaligned to the right, see? So there's no happy medium. It's either to the left or to the right. But the clicks are good. They make a good noise, and they're solid, and there's a little bit of back play, but nothing to be annoying about. And then if you look at the dial, we have the Guanqin name up top, and then it says since 8500. I don't know what the year 8500 is supposed to represent. Is this from the future? I don't know. Do the Chinese count the years differently? I'll look that up real quick. No, apparently this is not the year 8500 in China. Some people say it's the year 4720. Which is significantly less than 8,500. And other places say that they just count every 60 years and then just name it a different 60-year period. So I don't know. All I know is it's not 8,500 or anything after 8,500. Then on the bottom, it gives 100 meters water resistance. And then it says chronometer. Chronometer. So it's not a chronometer, it's a chronometer. So I don't know what that is. It's just a made up word. I don't know if I don't know if it was just a mistake or if they just didn't want to say chronometer since it is not a current chronometer. There's no way there's not such thing as an NH35 that's certified as a chronometer. So you can't even buy a more expensive NH35 that's chronometer certified. That just doesn't exist. Then we have the dial. The dial's a flat black, no sunburst, and I like it. It's a nice deep black. And then we have the indices, and they're loomed, and there's your typical sub style with the upside down triangle up top, batons at the 6 and the 9, and dots everywhere else. And then we have the hands, and their typical sub hands. You got your fence post minute hand, your Mercedes hour hand, and lollipop second hand. And then we have a date at the 3, and look at that Cyclops. As you can see, the Cyclops seriously magnifies. This is not a wimpy Cyclops. A lot of people don't like a Cyclops on their date. My opinion is if you're going to have a Cyclops, and this is definitely a Cyclops. Then we have a signed screw-down crown. It's signed with a G. And the thread action's pretty good. You don't feel any resistance going out. And going in, though, sometimes you got to play with it to get it started. But it went in pretty easy that time. But I've seen a lot worse, that's for sure. Look at those crown guards, though. They don't really guard the crown at all. They're more like a pedestal for the crown. I mean, there's a little tiny indent, but not much. And then we have a flat sapphire crystal. I don't know if there's AR coating or not, but it seems to do a pretty good job of not reflecting. So I think there is. You can see through it just fine. The only reflection you get is from my overhead light, and anything is going to reflect that. Even my Tag Heuer, which probably has the best AR coating I've ever seen on any of my watches. Then we have the case. The case is solid steel, sub-style, brushed up top, polished on the sides, brushed on the bottoms. Nothing wrong with this case. I like it. Does the job. Like I said, though, the only complaint, though, would be these crown guards really don't protect the crown. Then the case back, we have a display case back. And it's a screw down display case back, and it shows off the NH35 movement. I'm kind of indifferent about display case backs and NH35s. They're very good, reliable workhorse movement, but they're not very pretty. And for some reason, a lot of these Chinese companies, they stick with the stock rotor. But they'll use a different rotor when they have a non-Japanese movement, but when they have an NH35, they stick with the stock rotor. Unlike Invicta, which has their own custom rotor for an NH35. Then if you look at the case back, it says waterproof, not waterproof, waterproof. Then it says resistant. So we have another little spelling error here. Then it says stainless steel 10 ATMs. The case back, I like it because it's nice and thin. So it keeps the watch under 13, which is nice. At 12.5, that's pretty good thickness for a NH35 powered watch. The watch is powered by the NH35 movement. This is the go-to workhorse movement for watches in this price range. It's a 24 jewel movement that hand winds, hacks, and has the bidirectional rotor. It's a 3 hertz movement, so it ticks 6 times a second. And they're usually fairly accurate right off the shelf. I'm pretty sure a $50 watch would not have been regulated at the factory, but you never know. So let's put it on the Timegrapher and see what we got. Here it is on the Timegrapher, and as you can see, we got some pretty good numbers here. +1, +2, no beat error, 268 degrees amplitude. Yeah, so this one's running pretty accurate. So I don't know, maybe they did regulate it at the factory. The bracelet is a 3-link oyster style. And we have solid end links, and it's fully brushed, no polished center links. This is not fully articulating though. The center links are attached to the side links. And instead of screw pins, we have push pins. And as I always say, I'm perfectly happy with push pins. There just seem to be no hassle, unlike screw pins. Then we have a sign clasp, and I really like the clasp. I think for the Rolex style clasps, this is one of the better ones I've seen. It just seems to be a little bit better finished, a little bit sturdier. Seems to work better. I like it. Now, it doesn't have on-the-fly adjustment, but it does have the Easy Link, and it's actually workable. I've had a few clasps before where the Easy Link gets stuck. Of course, you have to use the Easy Link to adjust it, the micro adjust, which is a pain to do. So that's my biggest complaint about the Rolex style clasp. If you don't have the on-the-fly adjustment, using the micro adjust is really difficult. But no, I like the clasp a lot. I think it's well done. And it's better than the Pagani design clasp, which is very similar. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. That looks really nice. I mean, it is a good sub homage. Wears nice, looks nice, has a good wrist roll. I like the fact that it's brushed and not polished. It just gives it more of a tool watch look. So yeah, it's good. Here we are in the Lume room, just wearing the watch. I didn't notice anything spectacular, so I don't expect much from this test. As we speed up the time, we see that we have C3 hands and indices and a BGW9 Lume pip. The Lume pip is first rate, but the rest of the watch not so much. The indices are fading fast. At least the hands are a little bit better, but still almost gone. This is bad Lume other than the pip. What do I like about this watch? Well, I really like the clasp. For a Rolex style clasp, this is really well done for this price range. It has a proper cyclops that actually magnifies the date. Some cyclops on these cheap Chinese watches just hardly magnify at all, so it's nice to see that it's done properly. And this watch really looks and wears great. I really like it. What are my gripes and groans? 80-click bezel. That is seriously misaligned. I've never seen an 80-click bezel before. They're usually either 60, 90, or 120. I always complain about the 90, so I guess I really complain about the 80. Crown guards don't really protect the crown. They're more of a little pedestal. The Lume is very substandard, and it's got some really weird text on the dial and a misspelling on the case back. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, you only notice the misaligned bezel when you look closely, and this really does have the proper look for a sub homage. For the price, you're getting a good watch, and you'll be happy wearing this sub. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Guanqin GQ16192, and I will be back with another review. Be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.